Welcome Ji. Let's start. Today I am going to discuss about the type inference. So we are going to discuss since which JDK version this local variable type inference Java support, and what are the different way, what are the scenario and situation where you can use the our local variable as a type inference, and what are the scenario and context situation where we cannot use, means ki compiler even not allow. Okay, so first uh, let's understand what is the type inference. Okay, so theoretical part. So local variable and type inference. So since JDK 10 or later, means ki from JDK 10 you can declare local variable with a non-null initialize with a bar identifier. So here Java use the bar keyword, var keyword, to declare any local variable. So question is that if any variable, local variable, you are declaring with the bar keyword, then what is the data types? How the data types the compiler identify? So the compiler say कि the types of variable are inferred from the context. So this is the very important types. Our compiler, we have as a developer, our responsibility, we have give some context, some hint to our compiler so that they compiler figure out what would be the data types for this bar keywords. So no, please note that bar is a reserved type's name. Reserved type name. It is a not a keyword. One thinks as a Java use local variable as a bar keyword, but it is not a keyword. That means the existing code can use bar as a the variable name, method name, or even a package name. There is no any problem. But please avoid nowadays because the bar is a reserved type name. Even it is not allowed if you want to going to create any kind of a name of class or interface. So the bar reserved type name you cannot use. So let's check how we can use this uh, as a example. So general use of your local variable as a type inference in the following sections. Local variable declaration with the initializer. What do you mean by any variable you are declaring local length and also you are initializing with the value? At that place you can use the for example, let us example, we have like a variable like here you can say string like a name equal to John. So here you are saying this is the John is a string object and you are also saying the name as a string. Exact clear. So here say instead of writing this, even you can write a bar name and equal to you can say John. Now that means ki this data types initially we have to mention, now there is not needed. For local variable is the variable that can declare inside any block, that is local variable. So first things, maybe this is the main method or even your maybe different method like maybe any method like a static void test method. Okay, so whatever the variable you are declaring like integer int x equal to 9. So these are the local variable, means ki inside any method, any block, whatever the variable you are declaring, that is local variable. So the variable which while declarations you are initializing, so that is the good place. Here I am declaring one x variable and also initializing with the value. So here instead of this we can simply say instead of data type, you can simply say this is the bar. So all the local variable which you are declaring and initializing the same places where you can use this bar keyword, because while declaration name variable, from this you notice, from this right hand value compiler can figure out this is the your name is the types of string. Here our compiler are able to identify this is the 9 by default integer, so our compiler is surely identify this is the types of your int. So now our JDK compiler is have enough intelligence, they can figure out what is the data type for the given value. So this is the your if let someone try to say bar let's say x here. So in this way you can not, here you can say ki bar x, but here I am not giving as a developer any context what is the value of x. Look like here in here is a string name, it's say this is the name data type. Okay, before using that must be initialized. So similarly here must you put some value, like here say like 1.1. So here now our compiler is able to identify, okay, x is the types of 1.1. By default they are considering a double, so this is the double. So whatever the value you initializing in your variable, from this value, from right hand value, our compiler are identified, figure out what is the data types for this variable. Okay, so this is the one use case, local variable declare with initializer, where we can use the your uh, type inference bar keyword. So one things, okay. Another places where you can use the while for enhance for loop index. So sometime we are using like here, let's we have a like a list of string, let's list of strings names equal to, let's give we have a list of like 1 2. So sometime we are using the enhanced for loop. This means whenever we have a list of collections, so we are saying for, and here say your list of collection, like your list of collection, this is the type of string. So here you can use the string, what the string data. Okay, so in this way you can use your variable. So here say if you are in the for enhanced loop, this is the local variable, you know you are getting value from here. So this is the this is the list of a string. So here this is the local variable for loop, that compiler has also identified what is the data types. So in even you can write this using the var keyword. So now in the for enhanced loop you don't need to specify the data types your temporary variable. From this now here we are the context here, the list of strings, So now for this D, compiler is identified, oh, this is the types of string, and you can even run and test this, it will both works fine, there is no any problem. So our compiler is enough sufficient to identify what are the types. So if you notice here, I say a name dot like a length. So our compiler know key what is the length of this variable, and they are apply the string length function, and you can get the length. Even let's see, we try something incorrect, like we are trying to say like some method that does not contain like a let's method like a foo. So you notice that here our compiler identify, right, cannot resolve method foo in string class. So they make this name is a type of string compiler identify, and in this there is no foo method, right? So by default, with the help of this value, compiler identify what is the types. So this is the one place all the local variable we can use as a bar keyword. Similarly, your enhanced for loop also support. And even you notice another way you can use the index variable declare in the traditional for loop. Even we can use like whatever the traditional we are generally like a loop. I want to for int I equal to 0, I excuse me, I less than, let's string dot length size and I plus plus. So generally this is the traditional way generally we are writing okay, as out, and your whatever the list like strings of dot get I. So in this way, so this traditional for loop here integer x, I know this is the what here you are declaring and also initializing. So from this initialization, compiler can identify what is the data types. So even you don't read specify the data type, here you can say this is the local variable, I can say bar. Even now your local variable inside a traditional for loop, even you can use your bar. Now your compiler, because you are initializing value, from this value they can figure out what is the data types of this I. You don't need to specify like here int, and both way it works. So even your enhanced for loop or a traditional for loop where you are using some variable, that is the local variable, that local variable, because you are giving the value, you are initializing value at that place, compiler automatically identify the types. You can just write the var keyword. And even you can use the try with the resources. Then nowadays recommend if you are opening some file or declaring some thread, so we can use the try with the resources. So try with the resources also you can use the your local variable. Let's example, here I am using the let's executors dot start new virtual thread. Okay, so here you can write binary try with resources. So type resources here also, even you don't need to specify like here a type name. You can simply say I can write like here bar. It will our compiler identify what is the types of bar, and you can here like you can use function like dot submit, and you can pass whatever you want to out. Okay. Similarly, here you can also use the same no, this is a compiler automatic identified key what is the types of this executor service. So these are the places where now you have options. You can write the data types or even simply say var. Don't worry key what needed. Compiler can infer, can figure out. So one place is also where you can like use like a lambda expression. Sometimes we are declaring lambda expression. So lambda expression also you have to specify the data types or automatic data type we infer. So let us example like here say like one function. Let's key we have a function like take one integer and comma another integer. Let's key function like increment increment, that's increment in the function. So what this functional interface, this is the functional interface. They have only this is the functional interface. Functional interface have a one method that apply that take one input parameter and returns another types. So here you can write lambda expression like this is the one input take a and returns like maybe a plus 1. Okay, so here even you can write like here integer int. Okay, it will fine. You have to specify the your data types, or even you can also let's instead of decrement, and here even you can types your bar, and here let's just minus. So now from JDK 11 onward, before here you have a no option to write the bar keyword, but now you have options. You can also write the bar keyword, maybe combinations of different things. But please be ensure that if your function take a two parameter, let's here like some lambda expression, you are taking like a comma b and just returning like a plus b something. So here might be let's by function. Okay, that will take let's one integer comma another integer and return another integer. Right, so here you have options. Here you can also declare like a function one. Here you can option like a var and bar. So you are declaring a both bar, or if you try to like in this way like to here you can say one bar and one like a integer. So these are the mix is not allowed, or you can use both bar or you can use the both integer. Here you can use the both integer. So please this is the just the language syntax. Whenever your lambda expression have a multiples variable, so please ensure that you can use uh, all bars, all are integer, or even better option you don't specify anything. If you want to specify the bar keyword, you have to ensure that all parameters should have. So these are the some places where you can now use the bar as a local variable as a type inference. Okay, so even the some places where you cannot use, like here I can say not allowed to use local variable as a type inference, where if you declare like bar integer x, so here see cannot use var as a variable without the initialization. So one things whenever you are going to declare any variable like a like f, so you must initialize, else the var keyword cannot use. Okay, and another case is where if you are using the lambda expression. So let us sometime use like here you are using the lambda expression like runnable. Like runnable is the interface like runnable, and here you can say like okay. So here we are writing the lambda expression, and here you have to this is the your someone think can I use this is the local variable, right? Runnable, can I use the var keyword? So let us try here, and here you just try the bar. So here compiler are not understand key this lambda expression for which functional interface. You have to specify the functional interface name for which this lambda expression is. So in this case, our compiler is not able to infer कि this is the runtime implementation, or even that's key I can even write one my interface my functional interface. Okay, and here also I can declare like variable void and just test and now return. So here this, if someone I'm going to write the lambda expression like this my, and even you can write the same logic here. So here now from this code compiler is not identify that this is the types of this. Okay, if someone I'm trying to say like this comment and I try to var, you notice for this two implementation compiler is not able to understand that this is the for your runnable and this is for your my functional interface. So please note, whenever you are writing lambda expression, you have to specify your type. Here you not specify bar keyword, even if this is a local variable, because this right hand side is not give the clear compiler context. You can figure out the data types, and but so here you cannot use the local variable as a type inference. So here this is the local variable, this is the local variable, but also initialize. As the definition say कि any local variable if initialize you can use the var keyword, but no, here we are using the local variable also initializing the lambda expression, but we cannot refer as the var keyword. So some you can say कि var keywords we can use the limited places, not all the local variable. If you notice, this is the my test method like integer x. So let's keep b. So you notice this method is the interface b is the local variable. Can you declare b as a bar keyword? No, here you cannot say bar. Any local variable you cannot say bar because some context needed. So here you cannot say bar. Okay, here always specify the data types. Similarly here in the lambda expression, your lambda expression is assigned to a local variable, you must specify the your functional interface name so that compiler can figure out this implementation, this lambda expression for this functional interface or this functional interface. Okay, and similarly some context might be many things. Even you can say ki I am going to initialize some null value. Let's say I am say like bar obj and equal to null. Even this is not understand because the null is the types of string object null, math object null, string buffer null. What kind of null? So here compiler from this null object, compiler is not figure out ki what is the types of this object. So this also not allowed. Similarly, even if you are writing any methods that return something, inferred data type is none. Similarly, if you are writing some method references, then return something, that is also problematic. You cannot figure out complete the exact data types. Even this is the very interesting about the array. If you notice, sometime we can declare like integer s int array, and you can say like d equal to, here you can initialize the array like 2 comma 4 comma 3. So you notice d also is the local variable and also initialize. So can I place like here like bar? Okay, no, because from this is not identify this is the integer type, float type, what this is the object. So these are the some cases where even local variable also initializing, but you cannot use the var keyword. Array initializer need the explicit target types. So please though, if you are array initializing or you are initializing any lambda expression, please specify your target type explicitly. Compiler not figure out. So these are the some contexts where you cannot use. And even sometime you are thinking, if you're writing any like a class, let's say I write class in the test class. So any class name cannot be like a bar is the not a keyword, reserve word. You cannot use any bar as your name of class. Okay, so this is always your uh, but here you can write any integer like age class. Okay, and let's like a class like employee class have a age, that's okay. But here say someone like int salary. So here you cannot also play like a var, because here the you are not uh, assigning initializing any value. So any instance variable you cannot declare as a bar. Yes, if any local variable like here local variable var, you can say like a bar like something 8. So bar is the reserved word, but you can use a variable name. There is no any confusion. Here there is no any confusion. Even you can get the value. You will print the value as well as let's key 908. So here bar is the not a keyword. That indicates means bar keyword you can use as a your variable name or method name, but you cannot use as a this is the bar. Okay, so this is the, but generally please avoid the kind of things bar confusion. So my recommendation, compiler allow you can use bar as a variable name because it's not a keyword. So please still avoid, don't, it's because this is the confusion. Make a thumb rule ki we are not going to use bar as a variable name or method name or even class name or even interface name. So this is a personal my sessions bus compiler allow कि bar you can use a variable name as well as. So these are the some things which while writing code please consider, and even these are some standard guidelines. Of course now question arise कि what are the guidelines. Okay, so local variable declaration can make code more readable by eliminating the redundant information. This also things key sometime this type inference help us the code readability, but not always. However, it can also make code less readable by omitting the useful information. There are some variable, if you mention the data type, that makes sense, that give the useful information. If you remove and just place a bar might be problematic to code understanding, code readability. So this is the very, you can say the var keyword I have some plus and some minus. So this feature use this feature with judgment. No strict rule exists when it should use, when it shouldn't use. So as this is not my suggestion, this is given by our Java designer. If you look the uh, local variable type inference by Stuart W. Marks, they have published the paper where you notice they also mention this is the depend upon the your judgment, not you can fairly all places going to use the all the local variable as a var where compiler allow and somewhere not. So these are the something like trade-off. Please maybe discussion while multiples discussion happen where we can use, or each company each project defines some rules where you are going to use, where you cannot use. So the principle of this what the you can say the type inference is that like reading code is more important than writing code. Similarly, code should be clear from local reasoning. So these are the some explicit of given by in this document, and there are some standard guidelines. Whenever you are giving the your like bar keyword, choose the variable name that provide the useful information. Now you are using the bar keyword, so your variable name is make very sense so that they can convey the meaning. Because before you are writing the data types, the data type at least convey the meaning this variable can hold only this value. But now this is the bar, so we are not understand bar x. So bar is integer type x, or bar is the float type, double type, customer type, what. So now developer have a be carefully giving the variable name, useful name is the very important key terms. So like here, your list of customers. Okay, so here you mention this is a customer list. Okay, similarly like here is the stream of streams of customer and the result. So if you placing this with the var keyword, you mention this is customers, not the result. So giving the variable name is very reasoning and logical. Okay, and also these are the some guidelines always like notice here. Now here you are writing the like byte array output streams byte array output stream. So look here also we are writing the same byte array output stream, here also byte array output stream. So this line, because here you are declaring variable at same places you are initializing, so don't need write here, just say output stream, that is the good. Similarly, like here, buffer reader, simply say list of reader, simple say reader, string reader. So this because here right hand left hand side, right hand side also already give the proper context to you. So please sometime might be need your judgment, your understanding. Here like the variable name optional map dot indi dot long string, the huge variable name, best option simply use a bar keyword max entry output. The sometime this bar keyword is really help to writing the huge number of like big data types like map something. So that places the var keyword is really help for the developer. So sometime please be this is not the thumb rule ki always you can go to use the bar keyword. Let's example here like a new array list. So this is the okay due to the here you are specifying this is the list of string. If you replace this to the bar keyword, this is the confusion ki bar here your data type blank. So like let us example like here say ki your list of strings, okay, new array list. This is okay, but in this place if you replace this with bar keyword, let's get this one this two. So please note these two are very different things. This is your first list of a string. Second one is not a list of a string because here you are not specify the string. So this consume list of object. So might be you lose your business context. So just blindly you cannot replace all the local variable as a bar keyword. Be intelligence, we have to need to check your right hand initialization properly give the context to the compiler to figure out the data types or not. If we are not compiler here for string object 2 they are not figure out this is the string list is the list of a string or list of float or double something. So here you have to specify like again now it's okay. Now this is also the list of a string, this is also list of a string. So please be focused while selecting your local variable as a bar keyword. Similarly, like here a priority queue mentioned. So here this is the priority queue. It's okay, but you cannot replace just like a bar here. If you're replacing bar, you have to mention that this. If you're writing like this way, it's assume this by default you come your item queue of object, not the item queue of your item. So this kind of things are also dangerous because they are the business your business logic can be break somewhere. So these are some guidelines. Similarly, like list of here. This is the list of what list of? List of float in double what value you are passing. Also dangerous. Don't use. So some places you cannot use. If you want to really use, you have to specify the your right hand side some hint to the compiler, some context, so that they figure out what is the list of that. So these are some basic rules you have to follow. Similarly, like you are using some primitive data type, also sometimes confusion. If you are right here, red is equal to true, boolean, you can flatly use that, no problem. Character, no problem. Long, no problem. String, no problem. But some type like here, you have to byte here. This 0 is by default integer. Here specify this the byte. If you write here like flag 0, so they initially you are thinking this is a byte, but now look like it is int. So this also could be avoided. If you notice here, say byte flag, okay, equal to 0. So that's your like flag is 0. In this flag, you can only assign the range between, you can like 120 you can assign, but you can assign 130. It's not allowed because 130 is going to beyond the range. Okay, and what happen if you change this to bar? It's allowed, because by default this 0 considers an integer and int length is greater than your byte length. So sometime flatly you cannot use the bar keyword. So this is the byte. So here byte, you cannot say this is the byte be initialized 0, then I can use the bar. So here I can use the like a bar, right? If you notice here, your compiler say problem, but here if you replace bar, now here your compiler is okay. So some context scenario you cannot use flat, like in the case of byte, like in the case short as well as in the case of long base. By default this consider as your not long by default integer. So all are by default integer, but previously you have to specify the long. So sorry, here like in the case of similarly in the case of double float, it's clear because you are in float and double. So by default is the float and double, there is no problem. And last not least, but some guidelines like here mention, if you are using some like a constant variable, so there is no any make sense you are going to use the bar keyword just for the sake of like a double something, not needed. So these are the some guidelines rule where you have to ensure that you are going to use bar keyword but carefully. And whenever we are going to use the bar as a local variable name types, please we give the logical meaningful name so that the variable name also convey the value the variable going to hold. So this is some places they are very handy, code readability increase, but not all the places. So here as a developer our responsibility, please use, be carefully, somewhere you must use, somewhere you cannot use, and give the proper variable name so that they give the clear meaning. So our purpose is that, why the purpose first priority, our focus priority is our code should be readable, because you are writing code once and the code is reading many times, years and year you can say. Our as a developer, our ethic, our moral, whenever we are writing code, that code be easy to read, easy to understand, and code should be maintainable. And this is only possible if we follow the proper guiding coding guidelines and the as a Java language specification. From this note, I would like to say thank you for watching this video.